I choked on my coffee. Press? Oh yes, dear. You're quite the story. Rags to riches, true love conquering all. Very romantic. Aiden and I exchanged glances. We'd managed to keep our relationship relatively private, but an engagement would inevitably draw attention. What if we don't want a media circus? I asked. Eleanor looked at me as if I'd suggested canceling Christmas. Darling, you're marrying into one of America's most prominent families. There's no such thing as private anymore. She wasn't wrong. Within days of the engagement announcement, photographers were lurking outside our building, and gossip columnists were digging into my background. The foundation became a convenient shelter. We could claim to be too busy with charitable work to give interviews. But it was the call from my sister that really drove home how much my life had changed. Jake, is it true? Are you really engaged to Aiden Carter? Sarah lived in Ohio with her 2 kids, and we spoke maybe twice a year. Hearing her voice now, excited and slightly bewildered, made me realize how far I'd traveled from the person I used to be. It's true, I said. The Aiden Carter? The billionaire? He's also the man I love. I can't believe it. My little brother, marrying into money like that. Something in her tone rubbed me wrong. I'm not marrying money, Sarah. I'm marrying Aiden. Same difference, isn't it? No, it's not. After I hung up, Aiden found me staring out the window, lost in thought. Everything okay? My sister thinks I'm marrying you for your money. He came up behind me, wrapping his arms around my waist. Are you? Very funny. What does she think about the foundation? I didn't mention it. She was too busy calculating your net worth. Jake. He turned me in his arms. Does it matter what she thinks? It shouldn't, but it does. I sighed. I guess I'm still sensitive about people thinking I'm a gold digger. The people who matter know better. Do they? Eleanor does. The foundation board does. I do. He cupped my face in his hands. And most importantly, you do? He was right, of course. But as the wedding planning intensified and the media attention grew, I found myself increasingly aware of the whispers and speculation that followed us everywhere. It wasn't until the night before our wedding that I finally understood what Aiden had been trying to tell me. We were having dinner with Eleanor and a few close friends when Richard Blackstone approached our table. I hadn't seen him since that night at the Morrison Gala, and his presence immediately put me on edge. Aiden, he said smoothly. Jake, congratulations on tomorrow's ceremony. Richard, Aiden's voice was arctic. I'm surprised to see you here. Oh, I wouldn't miss this for the world. It's not every day we get to witness such a romantic conclusion to a business arrangement. The old insecurities flared, but before I could respond, Eleanor stood up. Mr. Blackstone, she said, her voice carrying the authority of decades in high society. I think you're confused. This isn't a business arrangement. It's a love story. And if you can't see the difference, that says more about you than it does about them. Blackstone's smile faltered. Around us, conversations had stopped as people watched the confrontation unfold. Now, Eleanor continued, I suggest you leave before you embarrass yourself further. As Blackstone retreated, I felt Aiden's hand squeeze mine under the table. Thank you, I said to Eleanor. Don't thank me, dear. Thank yourself for having the courage to love someone publicly, completely, and without apology. She raised her champagne glass. To love that's real enough to weather any storm. To love, Aiden echoed, his eyes never leaving mine. To love, I agreed. And for the first time since the engagement was announced, I stopped caring what anyone else thought about our story. All that mattered was that it was ours. Our wedding day dawned gray and drizzling, typical London weather that Eleanor declared absolutely perfect for photographs. I stood in front of the mirror in our hotel suite, adjusting my tie for the 100th time. The morning had been a blur of last-minute preparations, phone calls from vendors, and Eleanor's increasingly frantic organizational efforts. "You look good," said Marcus, Aidan's business partner and our best man, as he adjusted his own formal wear. "Nervous? Terrified," I admitted. "Good terrified or bad terrified?" I thought about it. Good terrified. The kind that means something important is about to happen. That's the right kind. A knock at the door interrupted us. "Jake!" Eleanor's voice called. "May I come in?" She entered carrying a small jewelry box, her eyes bright with unshed tears. "I have something for you." Inside the box was a pair of platinum cufflinks, simple but elegant. "They were James's," she said. "My husband's. I thought you might like to wear them today." The gesture was so unexpected, so perfect, that I felt my own eyes well up. "Eleanor, I can't." "Of course you can. You're family now, officially and completely." She helped me fasten the cufflinks, her hands gentle and sure. "He would have loved you, you know. Would have loved seeing Aidan so happy." "Thank you," I managed. "No, dear boy. Thank you for loving my grandson enough to say yes, for building something beautiful together, for giving this old woman hope that love really can conquer all." The ceremony itself was a blur of faces, flowers, and overwhelming emotion. The venue, a historic church in Mayfair that Eleanor had somehow procured, was filled with friends, colleagues from the foundation, and a carefully selected group of society figures who'd become part of our extended London family. But all I could focus on was Aidan, standing at the altar in his perfectly tailored morning coat, his eyes bright with tears as I walked down the aisle. The vows we'd written were simple, honest, full of promises about building a future together that honored both our past struggles and our present joy. "I promise to love you when you're controlling and when you're vulnerable," I said, voice shaking with emotion. "When you're composing love songs at midnight, and when you're conquering the business world during the day. I promise to be your partner in everything. In work, in play, in the quiet moments that matter most. I promise to love you without trying to change you," Aidan replied, his voice steady despite the tears streaming down his face. "To support your dreams even when they scare me. To trust in us even when the world tries to tear us apart. I promise to be worthy of the faith you've placed in me, today and always." When the officiant pronounced us married, the kiss that sealed our union felt like the beginning of everything rather than the culmination of our journey. The reception was everything Eleanor had promised. Elegant, joyful, and filled with people who genuinely celebrated our love. But my favorite moment came during the dancing, when Aidan pulled me close for our first dance as husbands. "How does it feel?" he asked as we swayed to music he'd commissioned specially for the occasion. "Like coming home," I said. "Like everything before this was just practice for the real thing. No regrets? Only one." His face tightened with concern. "What?" "That it took us so long to get here." His smile was brilliant, transforming his entire face. "We got here exactly when we were supposed to." "You think so?" "I know so. We both had to become the people we needed to be before we could build this together." As the evening wore on, I found myself stepping outside for a moment of quiet reflection. The London streets were busy with their usual evening traffic, people hurrying home from work or out for dinner, completely unaware that inside the elegant building behind me, two men were celebrating the best decision they'd ever made. "Having second thoughts?" a familiar voice asked. I turned to find Aidan approaching, his jacket discarded, sleeves rolled up, looking more relaxed than I'd seen him all day. "Third and fourth thoughts, actually." All good ones. He came to stand beside me, and we watched the city life flow around us. Thank you, he said quietly. For what now? For taking a chance on us. For saying yes when it would have been easier to say no. For becoming my family. I turned to face him fully. This man who transformed from stranger to salvation to soulmate. Thank you for seeing something in me worth saving. Thank you for saving me right back. As we kissed there on the London street, married at last and surrounded by the life we built together, I thought about the contract that had started all. A business arrangement that had become the greatest love story of my life. I'd sold myself to a billionaire and found my future. But more than that, I'd found myself. We spent our honeymoon in the Greek islands, far from London society and foundation responsibilities. 2 weeks of nothing but sun, sea, and each other. The first real break we'd taken since starting our new life together. I could get used to this, Aiden said, lying beside me on the private beach of our villa. The Mediterranean stretched endlessly before us, so blue it hurt to look at directly. Retirement doesn't suit you, I teased. You've checked your phone 6 times in the last hour. Have not. Have 2. I've been counting. He laughed, setting the phone aside and rolling over to face me. Fine. But only because Eleanor texted about the foundation's latest donation numbers. And we've raised enough to help 50 families with medical debt this quarter. The pride in his voice made my chest tight with affection. That's incredible. It's because of you, you know. Your story, your authenticity. It makes people want to give. It's because of both of us. And Eleanor's legendary networking skills. True. He traced lazy patterns on my sun-warmed skin. Jake! Are you happy? I opened my eyes to find him studying my face with that intensity that still took my breath away. Deliriously. Even with all the attention, the press coverage, the wedding had indeed been the social event Eleanor predicted. Photos of us had appeared in magazines on both sides of the Atlantic, accompanied by breathless articles about our fairy tale romance and speculation about our future plans. I'm learning to live with it, I said honestly. It's the price of loving someone in the public eye. If it ever becomes too much, it won't. We're a team, remember? We handle whatever comes together. Together, he agreed, pressing a soft kiss to my shoulder. That night, we had dinner on the villa's terrace. Wine and candlelight and the sound of waves against the shore. It was during dessert that Aiden produced another small box. What's this? I asked, accepting it with suspicion. We're already married. You can't propose again. It's not a proposal. It's a wedding gift supplement. Inside was a key, old-fashioned and ornate, clearly vintage. What's it to? A house. In the Cotswolds. I bought it last month, before the wedding. Thought we might need a place to escape when London gets overwhelming. I stared at the key, overwhelmed by the gesture. Aiden, you didn't have to. I wanted to. Somewhere that's just ours. No history, no expectations. A place where we can be completely ourselves. What's it like? His face lit up with excitement. Old stone cottage, about 300 years old. Garden that's completely overgrown, but has incredible potential. Library with built-in shelves and a fireplace. And, he paused, grinning. A music room with perfect acoustics. For your midnight piano sessions? For our midnight piano sessions. I thought I might teach you properly. The image he painted was so perfect, so exactly what I hadn't known I wanted, that I felt tears prick my eyes. I love you. I love you too. When can we see it? As soon as we get back to London. We spent the rest of the evening planning what we'd do with the cottage. How we'd restore the garden, which room would be Aiden's office for when he worked from home, where we'd put the Christmas tree. Christmas tree? I asked. Our first Christmas as a married couple. Eleanor's already planning to visit. Of course she is. She wants to host Christmas dinner at our cottage. Our cottage that we haven't even seen yet. She's very confident in her grandson's real estate choices. I laughed, pulling him closer on the outdoor daybed where we'd settle to watch the stars. She's going to redecorate the entire place, isn't she? Probably. But she'll ask permission first. Will she? No, he admitted. But she'll make it beautiful. As we lay there under the Greek sky, I thought about how much my life had changed in just over a year. From desperate and alone to married, and building something meaningful with the love of my life. Do you ever think about the contract? I asked. About how this all started? Sometimes. Do you regret how we met? Never. It brought us together. Even though it wasn't conventional, I turned in his arms to face him. Aiden, nothing about us has been conventional. And that's exactly what makes it perfect. You think we're perfect? I think we're perfect for each other. I think we're exactly what the other person needed. Exactly when we needed it. Fate? Maybe. Or maybe just dumb luck. I prefer fate. Of course you do. You like things to have order and meaning. And you like things to be organic and surprising. See? Perfect for each other. He kissed me then, soft and sweet under the Mediterranean stars. And I tasted salt air and wine and the promise of all our tomorrows. We made love that night, and in his arms, I knew I had found forever.